Welcome back. We've got a little bit of a different setup today. It's the same kind of running, but we've got this little guy, and it's an attempt at creating my own railroad. NMG 6101 Nutmeg Railway. Of course, we've got our cars coming in as well, right behind this older U-boat, and we'll go through those, and I'll get into the rest of it. We're going to be working on ATI, or American Technologies Incorporated, just dropping off the two box cars there, and then we've got that flat car, or the bulkhead car, with some telephone poles that's going to go to Vermont Power, and those are right next to each other, so it's just going to be kind of backing these box cars in, switching the ones out at ATI that are there, and then setting out this the bulkhead on the industry right behind us, or right behind the train right there. So while we're watching some switching, let me talk to you about what my intentions are with this Nutmeg Railway, and I don't know, maybe I'm kind of excited about it, and maybe you can match my enthusiasm for it, and if there's any pointers, just throw them out, and let's go for it. So I guess the first question for anybody is, given the amount of locomotives and everything you have for the Vermont Rail, what gives, why would you want to get more locomotives? And honestly, the question is, why not? I was actually thinking, I'd love to have a railroad or locomotives that are from a little bit more local to me, and Providence and Worcester runs through the city that I work in, as well as the New England Central, but I'm well away from the Vermont Rail here in Connecticut, but it doesn't mean that I can't run the Vermont Rail, because I do prefer that one over the other two. But I just simply wanted to be able to have some locomotives that I could have fun with, and not necessarily be so concerned with getting things prototypically accurate on the locomotives for the details. And all of that sort of stuff. While that sort of thing is fun, this is more of like just sort of a freestyle kind of creative outlet, rather than trying to make things super accurate. So a little bit of an outlet for me, and then on top of that, I'm planning on making this Nutmeg Rail do some industries that the Providence and Worcester does, with some recycling industries, and they'll move around some intermodal containers that have tarps over the top of them, and I really like that sort of idea for a railroad, and a modeling sort of challenge, and so it didn't fit on the Vermont Rail, so I just wanted to be able to model that, and my own thing at the same time. So it felt like a perfect opportunity. So I suppose the question is if I've got intermodal containers now coming onto this layout, where the heck am I going to put them? And the answer to that is, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my team track as that location for getting recycled materials in those intermodal containers, and we'll go from there. But that's all to say that this is still. I still do have plans on changing up my layout, and I think on my next video, what I might do is do like I got a comment about doing an overview on this layout, and so I'll do an overview on this layout on my next video, and tie into that as well what I'm planning for my next layout, because it is an expansion. It's quite a bit bigger than what I've got right now, and I think you might like it, and that expansion has the ability to take on all of these different roles that this little layout just simply won't do, and I don't know. I think my new Nutmeg Rail will tie in perfectly with this new layout. So for the time being, yeah, I'm kind of pressing this layout into service with the new railway and the new industry, but I think it's still going to work. So let's give you a little history on what I'm thinking for the Nutmeg Railway. I currently have two U-boats, a one U-30C, that's this one here, and then I've got a C-30-7 in Conrail paint scheme, and I think so the Nutmeg Rail is more of it's kind of a struggling, or the idea is to have it be a struggling railway that doesn't necessarily have a huge budget, and it's got a lot of patched out units, doesn't necessarily have its own paint scheme, and the way that it just sort of identifies itself was with that huge nutmeg on the side of the locomotives. And then I've got on order a couple of other U-boat units, two 4-axle units, and then another 6-axle. And the idea is to kind of make all of these locomotives a little bit more weathered, and you know, they look like they've seen a lot better days, and they've seen a lot of hard work, and they're still going today. So that's the kind of idea that I've got going on, and it fits in with my preferences as well, because I've said on a couple of occasions in the past how I like to see, you know, all of my VTR locomotives as patched out units prior to getting their red paint job, just simply because it gives them a little bit more character. And so this Nutmeg Rail kind of fits right in. I do have an idea that I might paint one unit with some kind of paint scheme that I have in mind, but everything else is just simply going to be you know, a patched out, older, rusted and weathered unit. So and this right here, I have the nutmeg. It's just paper, and it's double-sided taped onto the side, just for a mock-up, just to see if I like it and that sort of thing. So this is, the idea is kind of in the beginning stages of things, and I'm kind of excited to see where it goes from this point, and what kind of life it takes on. So let's talk about the range of the Nutmeg Rail. So currently, the New England Central ties into the Vermont Rail up in White River Junction, up in New Hampshire, and then they start all the way down here in New London, and I really like the idea of that section of track from New London all the way up to I'm going to say Bellows Falls, because that's gonna be where my new layout is. So I'm going to have these trains, the Nutmeg Rail, servicing from Bellows Falls all the way down to New London, Connecticut, and all of that, all the points in between. So the Nutmeg Rail is going to come in on my new layout, with cuts of cars, to drop them off for the Vermont Rail, and then pick up new cars headed south. So we're going to see both Vermont Rail on my new layout, as well as this Nutmeg Railway. I'm toying with the idea of this Nutmeg Railway being a partner of the VTR, and just sort of like an extension of the VTR down to New London. Even though I know, the Vermont, not Vermont Central, New England Central, is the actual railway that comes down. This is just a freelance style idea, just so that I can tie in, where I am to where they are. So so I think I'm going to try and make this Nutmeg Rail a little bit of a partner. So I might have the kind of a mix of locomotives running. So I might see we might see like a Nutmeg Rail locomotive with a VTR locomotive at the same time pulling a cut of cars, or something like that. So I'm really interested to see how this develops. I think it's kind of interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. But at the same time, I'm a little nervous because I just bought 5 new locomotives when I'm supposed to be buying track and turnouts for the new layout. So I'm kind of getting a little bit distracted, but I think it's for the best. So speaking of these 5 locomotives, I actually just got, so this one that we've been running today is an old red box, Atlas red box locomotive. It came with a decoder, which is why I'm able to run it. The other one that I have is another red box, Atlas red box, but it doesn't have a decoder yet. And the 3 that I ordered are also Atlas red box. This one has been running really, really well. It's really quiet, really smooth, and I'm really impressed with it, honestly, given its age. So that's why I've just sort of gone all in on these Atlas units. They seem to be really, really, really good moving units. So I'm excited to get some decoders for the other 4, and match them all up, and hopefully I've got some good running new old trains. Personally, I have been really impressed impressed with the kind of locomotives that Atlas makes, and also like the rail cars that they make too. I'm becoming much more of a fan of theirs than the Athearn sort of stuff, which I know sacrilege, right? So it seems like everything today is, the focus is on, or you see Athearn Genesis with everything. So, but for me, I don't know. There's something about Atlas that really works for me. They've got really good quality products, and they're consistent too. Because this locomotive is a good 20 years old, and it's still running beautifully. It might not have all of those sort of prototypical ideas, but again, with these units, I'm not looking for prototypes, so I'm making that up as I go. So yeah, no, these the Atlas models, I don't know, I can't say enough good things about them. So anyway, with that, it looks like we are about wrapped up. All of our switching is done. We're charging some brakes here, and we're about ready to get out and head home. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for stopping in, and thanks for making it all the way to the end. Feel free to like and subscribe if you are so inclined. And we will see you on the next one, where we're going to be doing an overview of this track. And I'll see you then. All right, thanks again.